In a recent move, Long Beach City Council regulators mounted up to request drafting an ordinance to lower tax rates for cannabis businesses that align with specific hiring and compensation markers, as well as that are current with their tax obligations. Threw myself off. In the current landscape, Long Beach imposes a 6% excise tax on medical cannabis purchases, an 8% tax on adult use sales, and these rates are in addition to the city's 10.25% sales tax and the state's 15% excise tax. People, if you're not counting, that's almost 35% in taxes before the Fed takes their cut, which has many retailers feeling like they took my rings, they took my Rolex, and are struggling to keep pace with the illicit market. The proposed ordinance aims to cut taxes by 1 percentage point across the board for retailers, with the opportunity to qualify for an additional 3-point deduction if they meet the good standing requirements. Cultivators are not left in the dark either, as they're set to see their square footage tax drop, symboling a shift in the city's stance. Now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. However, to qualify for those tax breaks, businesses must navigate past existing tax challenges. Valencia Mota, aptly named as Mota translates to cannabis in Spanish, serves as the city's manager of cannabis oversight, highlighted a significant financial burden, approximately $6.6 million in unpaid taxes shadowing the industry. This figure is a stark reminder that before we can fully transition into this whole new era, there are old debts to be collected. It's a pivotal point in Long Beach's cannabis narrative where the past and future intersect, demanding resolution. City Council member Al Austin might as well have just said, if your ass is a bust, a 213 will regulate, when he stated, I do think that we should be heavy-handed for those businesses that haven't been compliant with our taxes. And this statement reflects Council's commitment to funk on a whole new level, balancing regulatory control with the industry's growth. To be eligible for larger tax cuts, businesses must be fully compliant with the permits and tax payments. They also need to meet additional criteria, like employing at least 40% of Long Beach residents and paying them 110 to 115% of the state's minimum wage. Retailers must also support equity businesses, reflecting a community-focused approach. The council anticipates these tax cuts could cost the city around $3 million annually. However, it's unclear just how many businesses will actually qualify for the largest reductions. The city council's decision is yet to be finalized, requiring 2 votes in the ordinance for it to take effect, a process expected to be coming in the coming months. Some council members may feel like if you know, I don't want to step to this. Fuck that up. Reflecting on Long Beach's decision to reduce cannabis taxes for compliant businesses, I initially saw it as a positive step forward. The intention to support above-board operations with financial relief seems commendable, particularly with dispensary owners in Long Beach. Particularly industry grappling with challenges like 280E tax code. However, after engaging with dispensary owners in Long Beach, my perspective has shifted. On the surface, this tax break appears beneficial, but in reality, it's a mirage for most. Most businesses struggling under the weight of operational costs are unlikely to meet the stringent qualifications set by the city. As one anonymous business owner put it, they suggested some ridiculous minimum pay, like $24 an hour, when they raise minimum wage next year with healthcare, so our bud tender will be making more than our executive. This disparity highlights a gap between well-intentioned policies and their practical on-the-ground impact, underscoring a disconnect that needs bridging for real progress in the industry. Will this help the city recoup $6.6 million in unpaid taxes? I'm not too sure about that. Sadly, some of these businesses may feel like they got a guns to my head, and I think I'm going down, so it may be a little too late. This scenario underscores the undergoing challenge in the cannabis market, finding the right balance between regulation and support for businesses. As we navigate this landscape, where if you smoke like I smoke, then you're high every day, it's crucial to remember that our goal is not just to regulate, but to ensure accessibility, fairness, and equity for all stakeholders in the industry. In the words of Mr. Elliott Lewis, weed for the people. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9.
Oh man, Stone Slade. Oh man, you know what? I really don't. I don't trust this. I'm not. This is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because, you know, ultimately this is really just a gift to the UFCW to force people to unionize, ultimately, especially right there in Long Beach. That is the name of the game. And since over half I think it's over half of the retailers are not up to date on their taxes, and so this really this actually will only benefit less than half, but it's really just a play to get people to join the union.
It's always conditional. They can't just say, "Oh, we're going to cut your taxes in half." Cut them in half if you do X, Y, and Z. And who that's benefiting, I don't know, but it's hurting these businesses. You know, I don't know why they can't make it the lowest tax so you get a business up and running, and then when they're profitable, now consider, do we want to increase it because the business can afford it and they're going to actually pay them? Because right now, you know, how are you going to collect these taxes that they owe already? And now you're going to, you know, force them to go take measures that cost the business money. I mean, this is the bottom line. Run a business, every time a regulation is put on you, it costs you money. Is it a good regulation, a bad regulation, a neutral regulation? I don't know. But this is forcing a lot more costs on businesses that can't afford to operate right now.
And Dale,
unbelievable.
Dale, of those half of those retailers that can you take a guess as to how much those half of the retailers owe the city of Long Beach and back owe taxes?
Oh, they're telling us it's $6 million.
$6.6 million, bro. $6.6 million.
Yeah, and they're never going to collect that.
No.
I mean, put a lien on a business that goes, we're just disappearing. We're selling our weed to New York and we're disappearing. Go ahead and collect on us. We lease the building. Go ahead.
Yep. Exactly. We're out of here. Peace out, you guys. California is not the place to be in that respect.
Well, it's not just California. Every place is doing the same kind of nonsense. It may be a different flavor of it, but they overregulate and overtax these businesses that are having trouble just keeping their doors open from the gate. You can't get funding. You can't get banking. Employees inside your business snitch on you. Gangs go up and steal your shit at gunpoint. It's really hard to do this, okay? And now you just do what? We'll give you a tax break if you add more cost to your business. Why would you support that?
Yep.
My grandpa was a Teamster, so I'm in favor of organized labor. But the other side owns small businesses, and oh my God, it's a small business. It's very difficult to meet all these requirements and stay profitable.
I'd call it more organized racket. I would call it organized labor, but nonetheless.